Hello, hello. Welcome to RamGoatAstrology. I'm Laura Lee.
And I am Helena. Hello. And today we have a guest on. We have Astrid.
Hi, Astrid.
Hello, I'm happy to be here.
We are so happy because today we are taking your podcast virginity. And I am so excited about this.
It is true. It's my first
Yeah.
first podcast I'm recording. Yes.
Woohoo.
Thank you for inviting me, ladies.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Thank you for being here. We have so much fun stuff to talk about. Astrid, tell us a little bit about yourself and where you are in the world and what you do with your life.
I am Astrid from Belgium and I am a miracle maker, which means that it's a miracle that I exist, really. Especially the way I'm feeling is a miracle, and how I'm helping other people to become the miracle they are and create miracles in their life.
I love that.
Okay, now I'm very intrigued because I don't know you. You and Laura Lee, you have a connection since before, but I've never met you. So I'm super intrigued. What do you mean by miracle worker? Can you go a little bit deeper into that?
Yeah, elaborate for us.
Yes, miracle maker. I have discovered the most powerful healing on a cellular level that heals us from traumas with little t and big T from generations. So guess what? The things you're bumping up against in your life to not feel fulfilled and feel the joy of your soul, it's not really yours, honey. Stop digging in your past because it comes from way further. Your ancestors had some experiences that they did not really process. And so the feeling got stuck in the cells. And so the little egg and the little seed that came together to create you, they still have this memory in there.
Yeah.
And so we think we come as a pure soul on earth. Yes, we do. Only the matter in which you land already has its history and its story. And so you fall into that. And so we are all digging into our past and looking at our parents. But when we look way further, we can heal way deeper. And then there's even no more blame and no more, it's so easy to get all over that. Because it's just millions of people that were necessary to create you, that you inherit your talents and all your positive things that you have, but also, the shit.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I'm excited to dive into your chart because it's in there, like talking about the generational healing and the generational trauma. Miss Sun sign in Sagittarius in the 12th house. Like, are you kidding me? Like, that's what you just described. Like, you did a great job describing your birth chart in your introduction. I love that. So, Astrid, is it all right if I go ahead and pull up your chart so we can take a look at it?
Yes.
Let's
Fantastic.
do it.
All right. So we've got you born on the 7th of December, 1973 at 10:15 a.m. in Belgium. Say the town.
Leuven.
Leuven.
And so, little celebration here, guys. I'm 50. Can you imagine?
Woo, woo.
Wow.
Crazy years.
I love that. I love how much you're celebrating. It feels power.
I never thought I would become 50. I really was planning on leaving this planet earlier. And now that I am 50, it's like, yes, bring on the game.
Were you worried how you would feel when you were 50? Or like what made you think that you would leave earlier? Was that just a feel, like a sensation, or?
I was actually so burdened that I really did not enjoy my stay on this planet.
Yeah.
I really suffered inside. It wasn't very visible for most of people thought I had a great life, but deep inside, I really had a deep pain.
Yeah. Which 12th housers carry? 12th house people carry that energy. I know Helena and I both have our our moon's in the 12th house. So we very much emotionally feel for your identity in this 12th house area of life. It can be a heavy burden. But when you recognize your mission and you're here to do the healing, you're here to learn how to put on that shield and stop the traumas from going through to the next generations and do the teaching, Miss Sagittarius, right? Do the teaching work that you came here to do. But in order for this to kind of wake up, there's usually some kind of dark night of the soul kind of thing that happens for that to kind of come to the surface for you to recognize. So when Gemini season happens, it's very active for you though, because Gemini season is opposite your sun at 15 degrees in Sag, and then your planet of wisdom, Pallas Athena, is at 20 degrees in Sagittarius. So your identity and your planet of negotiations and wisdom and this feminine knowledge of mediation. How do we work through the tough stuff without going to battle? These two planets are right next to each other, and they get really activated anytime planets trek through Gemini, because that's opposite in the solar system. So every time this year, or every year this time, there we go. This is a time of the year that gets activated for you because it helps to bring the unconscious energy forward into your conscious mind. Do you feel that right now?
Oh, yes.
I mean, like, I can feel it from you.
yeah. I just last month I was on a retreat, and then unexpectedly the integration was harder than I expected, right? And now I feel things are starting to shift. Things are coming my way. Opportunities are there. Inspiration is there for the teaching. Exactly. Yes, I feel it very much.
Good.
Yeah. I actually had a conversation with a friend last night about the 12th house, and we were talking a lot about the 12th house and about the fact that, yes, when you have planets here in the 12th house, it's something usually that you learn about those energies with age. You really have to mature to get a hold of those energies, because the 12th house is hiding. It's like a veil. It puts the energy of these planets are hidden behind this veil of the 12th house. So it takes many years to sort of be able to see those things and to reach in and grab them. So it will take, so it makes sense that you're more comfortable with this energy now, because your sun, your like core self is in the 12th house. It has been a little bit hidden, and it's so much about past lives and generations and all of that. And also your north node is here too, and the north node is also something that kicks in after 40ish.
Yep.
So it's really like, you can see here that it would have been, maturing into the chart is something that needed to happen. And I can imagine that it's been a little bit tough showing up in this world, because you have Pluto in a very tight square to your ascendant.
Yeah.
How you show up and how you see the world has been super, I don't want to use the word dark, but
challenging.
Can be like having, challenging. Like Pluto deals with life, death, and transformation. So having Pluto in a sort of a tension-filled conversation with how you see the world, that is not super comfortable to grow up with that. That's also something you have to, and seeing the harsher things about life, like maybe I'm not going to live for so long. Maybe my body's not going to take it. Like you see the harder things,
the darker stuff,
the darkness,
the darker stuff. That's part of where your power comes from, though, too, is seeing that darker stuff and living in that internal power struggle with how you show up and how you need to transform. That's not easy.
No, and also this, sorry,
right? Life really gave these things to me. Really, heavy things happened. That was around me a lot. So yes, I felt like I was studying life and death in order to now teach about it.
Yeah. 100%. And we have to mention your Capricorn rising. Capricorn rising, I love them, right, Helena? I do. They take a while to show up in the world, right? They work hard and work hard and work hard to make sure that when they do show up, when they're ready, it's done well. And I know what I'm doing, and I know what I'm going to teach, and I know what I know, right? We're not going to screw it up and have to redo it. We want to show up in the way that we feel really confident. So it takes Capricorn rising people a little bit longer. It's ruled by a Saturn energy. It just takes time. And for you, with your first planet in your chart, 3 degrees away from your rising sign, is the planet called Ceres. She's a dwarf planet, same size as Pluto. And she has everything to do with how we nourish and nurture ourselves, how we take care of ourselves. So for you, you had a lot of hard life lessons, very Capricorn style, hard life lessons around learning how to take care of yourself and putting yourself and your own needs first.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. A big yep on that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I had no idea how to take care of myself. No idea. Physically, emotionally, mentally, no idea. The one thing that really made me go through this is that deep inside, I always felt my soul very softly, and I think I had the hope that when I would become older, there would be something, you know. Yeah. Even though a lot of times also I completely lost the hope, but that's fine. I always felt there was something in life, you know, the connection with above that I have.
Yeah.
Has been present since I was like 8 years old or something. And I think that is really the thing that kept me going, because I always had signs from above.
Absolutely. You have so many connections there, so many connections with all of the things beyond the visible spectrum. Oh, yeah.
And just to continue on the Pluto square to the ascendant, that's also like the other side of that darkness and the hardship that comes with that is also that incredible power and magnetism, and seeing these other seeing signs and seeing behind the surface of people. Like, I don't think people trick you very easily. You know, you show like you have a strong Pluto in your chart, and Pluto also being in the 8th house, which is where it belongs. It's at home in the 8th house. So with Pluto comes a lot of energy, just like a very like vibrant magnetism that pulls people to you, and you can like see through and behind the surface of people and things.
Yeah.
And sometimes that trapped me though, because sometimes I saw the soul of a person and not who they were in this life. So
okay,
sometimes that was like,
let's talk about that. I just saw it as you said that. I was just looking at that. So you have Pluto at 6 degrees Libra and Neptune at 7 degrees Sagittarius. So that's almost exact sextile. And that is exactly how you described it. Sometimes I can see their soul and not who they actually are in this physical reality. Absolutely great description of how that Pluto sextile Neptune can show up, especially with Libra, because Libra is a very intellectual air sign that can see both viewpoints. It's very like judicial, like the justice system, making sure we have all of the evidence. So for you, you find your personal power when you give yourself time and space to really evaluate a relationship or a person or a situation. The power comes with the recess that the judge needs to take, or the deliberation room so the jury can go decide with all the evidence. That's where you do your best transformation work and where you do your best assessment of if this person is right, if this situation is right, if I'm seeing them for who they truly are, or if I'm just seeing an illusion of them or a part of them. Girl, I love that. I love that you have that. And now you know you just need some space and time to deliberate so that you can get the correct answer.
It's nice to know all of this now. Also, of course, because I've got rid of these generational things that attracted or forced me to go, you know, but now that I got rid of those and I've matured and I know myself long enough to know how my system works, I really honor it. And I really, people ask me a question or they say like, you have to buy this now. And I'm like, even if I lose the discount, I'm gonna deliberate on it,
Yes.
think about it, feel into it, because I don't never think about anything, but I feel into things.
Yes.
And then I will have the answer.
And that's beautifully spoken with your 12th house placement. You feel into things, and that's where your wisdom comes from. Not to mention, you have your mind, Mercury, at 27 degrees Scorpio. So again, a very intuitive feeling mind. So in order for you to make a decision, you do have to feel the decision. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And it's funny because sometimes I appear as very intelligent. I am intelligent, but I always feel that the intelligence, even the rational intelligence, comes from the feeling. That's funny.
Yeah, it is.
Even
for
like
sure.
maths,
Yeah.
I was so good at maths because I felt the numbers. I felt where they needed to go, and so it was less comprehensive,
so
but more
cool.
in feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, that feels like a good merge of Sagittarius and Scorpio energy, like Sag being the one who like with the logic, and Scorpio is just like channeling.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
And not to mention your Venus is sextile almost exactly to your mind as well. So Venus is very much like how things feel. And she's in very practical Capricorn. So that's another good merging of those energies too, is this practical energy and this grounded earthy energy you have with your values. It's almost like you can anchor yourself so that you can feel and do all of the woo stuff. It's a lovely combination.
Yeah. That's why I also like to look at the way I bring spirituality to the world. It's very earthly spirituality. It has nothing to do with the woohoo at all. Yeah. And it's not about being outside of society. No, instead go inside of society and build something up and do something in matter, do something in matter. Yeah.
Spoken like a true Capricorn rising, Venus Capricorn, and Taurus moon. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I love when people just describe their charts to me and I don't even have to read that. You just did it. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm intrigued. Was it because it seems like you do a lot of work and have been doing a lot of work to heal generational traumas? Was there a particular, or like what led you to start doing the work?
Well, actually, I've been doing the work as soon as I was able to go out and discover the world by myself. I had this unhappy feeling inside of me, and I've been studying and finding ways to get rid of that. So I've dove into psychology and all religions and new ways. And I read a whole library. I went to see everybody available to teach me, to heal me, to really explore life, understanding life, very philosophical also. Like, what on earth are we doing here, and why, and how, and all of this. And then now it really feels like, yes, this is so much my mission to teach this, that of course I needed to study this for like 45 years.
All of your life.
It's so funny,
because now I'm the expert because I've really studied it and lived it. Yeah. So I have both,
the life experience and been studying it. And like you said, Laura, in the beginning of this episode, that it's really, you're speaking so much about that sun in the 12th house, sun being in Sagittarius, and so much about wanting to learn everything and being super philosophical. It's very much Sagittarius, and wanting to learn about all religions. And going to psychology, that's your Scorpionic side. You have a lot of Scorpio in you, like really like going to the occult and like, help me out here. And merging those two energies and finding your way, like working with generational trauma, it just feels like such a a nice outcome from all what we're seeing in your chart.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
For real. And not to mention, we've got Chiron here at 16 degrees Aries. And that for you is in the middle of your second house. And the second house is what we build our life upon. It's the foundation, right? The first house is the self. And then the second house is, well, where do I put myself, right? Who are my core people? How do I pay for my life? And what is my structure I'm in? And your core wound, Chiron, which we came here to heal, is in this area of life of this foundational how and where and what do I belong in and to, and how do I build my life on this? And it's in Aries, which is launching new things, doing new things, initiating new things. And it's all talking in this lovely trine energy to your sun sign and your wisdom, having a conversation over here with North Node. Like these are all easy conversations these guys are all having. And it's really important that you recognize you're in your gift. You are in your element. You are doing your work. And Chiron just made his return for you not too long ago. This last year, you had a Chiron return in Aries. So this would have been this kind of this core wounding healing you would have been doing of your own self. And I love how you came on. You're like, I did the healing. I did the work. I'm ready to teach. Let's do it. Right. Like you were really rocking that Aries confidence of like, I did this. I did this shit. I come here.
Yes.
I come learn from me because I did this shit. Let me teach you how to do this shit.
Yes.
Like you've got it, which is so fantastic. And then of course, Mars in the sky currently is transiting in your third house, just moved into Taurus. And he just went over your natal Mars too. And the third house is teaching through speaking, communicating, writing, blogging, podcasting. Hey, getting your message out of you into some form of communication. So you're really driven right now in a foundational way to create this message that you want to put out there, right? What is the message? What's the foundational message? And you're very driven to do it right now, which is so great timing wise for you to be on a podcast.
It is incredible. I just literally was like, okay, so what will I be doing the next, few months? Because I'm all the time, I didn't know that was in my part, doing new things and, and so it was very clear. The next step is yes, start to write, start to do the podcast, create my YouTube channel, and then you just invited me.
Which I have to say was very spiritually driven. We were just having a meeting about some other stuff, and I had a couple people on my list for the podcast interview, and it felt like your name went from like I was going to put you on the list to ask, and then all of a sudden it felt like the list went whoop and just moved you right up to the top. And I was like, oh, I think you have to do it. And you're like, yes, please.
Funny, right? Yes. Yeah, it was perfect timing.
Yeah. It makes sense, especially with Venus, the Sun, Mercury, and Jupiter all in Gemini. And this is, again, a great time to activate your 12th house planets, your Neptune, your Sun, your Pallas Athena, and your North Node. Those are all getting turned on right now. Doof, doof, doof. Which is so lovely because 12th house energy is challenging to access kind of on the daily. But when planets are going through the daily house over here, it helps to turn on the lights over in the like sleepy house. It's almost like walking into your bedroom in the morning and pulling the curtains and flipping the light on. That's what happens during Gemini season for you. So it does feel very much like someone just turned all of the lights on and now you're awake. I'm awake. And Mars going through the Gemini house, the third house of Gemini, like this is great energy for you to be waking up and be sharing and talking and communicating. So
it's amazing, right? That you can just, what's happening in my life by looking at this chart.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic.
Cool. Yeah.
So I have to ask you, Astrid, do you know if you were a planned pregnancy?
That's a difficult question. I don't really know that. I haven't asked. they probably wanted me, but if they wanted me this fast, my mother and father, of course, got 4 children in 3.5 years time. So
that's a lot of kids in a very short time.
Yeah,
Wow.
and I think it was planned in a way. Of course, I was born too early, as I am an alone born twin. We born too early, of course. And so I do think they wanted me. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think I've seen this before with 12th house energy. It's not that it's not wanted, it's just sometimes it's not planned, right?
Mhm.
So my last child, Mr. Number 5, Magic Baby, he has 5 planets in the 12th house, including his sun sign. And he was very much not planned. Like, we were not trying. And he was like, I don't care, I'm showing up anyway. And I feel like I've done a lot of readings for people like that as well, who were not planned pregnancies. And during that pregnancy, whether your parents are together or not, during that pregnancy, there's an energy shift the mom has to go through to like swallow this pill and be like, okay, we're doing this again. Right. There's some energetic shifting that has to take place. And again, it's not that I don't love my child. He's amazing. And I didn't really want to have a 5th baby. Right. So there was a lot of shifting for me that I had to go through as the mom. But that shifting required a lot of surrender and a lot of trusting of spirit and trusting that there's a bigger path and a bigger plan. And I think that is the part of the surrendering that the mom has to do that kind of feeds into that baby, that little soul that knew that they weren't invited and they came anyway, because they didn't care. They were like, I have a mission. I know that your little human brain doesn't see the mission and you're not ready, but I'm coming anyway. And I feel like this is kind of the energy of that chart. So I'm curious, what number are you in the birth order?
I'm the last one.
Oh, you are
number 4. Yes.
Yeah, you probably weren't planned.
I'll call my mom later.
Right? Be like, hey, just curious. And I'm sure you were probably a happy accident that, she loved and all of that. And I bet there was some challenges in her pregnancy with emotional, like another baby in 3.5 years. Like, holy man, that's a big thing.
It is a big thing. It was a lot for her.
Yeah.
Yes, a deep respect for my
my
mom.
Right.
Sure. Yes.
Right. And I love that you came as this like handy dandy little Capricorn. You're like, it's okay, mama. I'm going to be of service to you. Don't worry. Like, I got you.
Yeah.
If you could come as any like non-troublemaking sign, I would say your sun in the 12th house and a Cap rising is probably the least troublemaking energy. with a Taurus moon, like, you weren't a real difficult child. You were probably a pretty chill, fun kid. Like, there wasn't, Taurus moons don't get real riled up real easily. They're pretty even keeled as long as you feed them. They need food. You like food.
I like food. Finally. I have had my struggles with food though, but I love it now. Yes, I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see struggles with food when your moon is square to Venus. Yeah.
Oh, right.
And Jupiter.
Funny.
Yeah. Jupiter and Venus are both square to your moon in Taurus. That indicates some struggles with food. Yeah. And some chaos with food too. Some chaos.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe like sometimes you liked it too much and then other times like you didn't eat it at all. And there was just like, there wasn't like an even kind of pattern with it.
No, that's right.
And I find with Taurus energy, because Taurus is all about the senses. So people with a lot of Taurus energy have very like heightened senses. So sometimes that can be a thing when you eat, like, the texture isn't right, or like, oh, it smells a little bit off, or like it looks weird. As like for me, I don't have much Taurus energy. I just like, I'm a lot of Capricorn. Like, I want to be efficient, so like, this is the food, okay, I'm gonna eat it, But my partner has a lot of Taurus energy, and for him, it has to really appeal to him. The texture has to be right, the smell has to be right, it has to look right.
I must admit, I like high quality food. Yes.
Of course
you do.
Above
Taurus.
other things, it's really like, no, I cannot do this.
Yeah.
I cannot. And I think as a child, I was just so sensitive of all the stress and the unseen trauma that was lingering in that in the bloodlines, you know.
Yeah.
And I picked a lot up on that, and so I reacted emotionally where my parents were like, what on earth are you reacting on, because we're doing our best here, right? And I felt all these things that I now learned to heal, you know.
And safety for Taurus people, and you live very much through your moon sign when you're a child. So safety for people with the moon in Taurus is very much about food as well. So if you felt like you were unable to eat well, you know, it would have also like destabilized you even maybe a little bit more. Like, how were your parents? Were you allowed to be picky with your food?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
No. They were rather severe and very much old school Christian people, and they had these 4 children and busy lives. So it was like, you know, like in the army, we cook the food, you eat it, you go on to the next task. Well, I now, when I eat, I'm sorry, I take an hour for one plate. And with a break in between. Because I just eat slow, and even now when I don't have the time to eat slow, then I'm like, not eating now. I just will wait for the moment that I can eat slow. I love eating
and enjoy it. Yeah, because you want to enjoy it. I always think of like Marie Antoinette and Ferdinand the Bull.
Yes.
Like when I think about Taurus energy, because it's so like both of them are so much about like just enjoying. And really enjoying something. Like, why should I eat if I can sit and really enjoy it and take my time?
So
that's correct.
The planet of nurturing and nourishing yourself is in the slow ass Capricorn sign. Like, of course, and it's at 9 degrees, having a lovely trine to your 8-degree moon. So like these two, this is the epitome of the slowest eater I've probably ever seen. Like, really. You'd probably, when we go to dinner, like I'd have to bring like my crochet stuff along so that you can like sit and eat, and I'll keep myself busy over here doing my art. Like, it's, everybody has their thing, right? And I love that about your unique chart. Your thing is to eat slow. So now I know if you and I ever get together to go have tea or coffee or lunch or whatever, I'm going to go bring my art and we'll just sit and you'll eat very slow and I will eat real quick and talk a lot and then do my art.
I appreciate that so much when somebody has the patience to eat with me, because normally, you know, they have finished their plate when I had my first 5 bites. So then they have to wait the whole ending me ending my plate.
That's something that's important for you, though. You have the sign of, the planet of Saturn in the sign of Cancer. And Saturn is the planet of taking time. And this is your daily routines house, the 6th house that it's in. So taking time and maturing into the things that you need, that nourish you, that make you feel good. That's all Cancer energy, right? Feeling good, taking care of yourself. And Saturn is take the time, figure out what you need, figure out what your needs are, and learn over time how to implement into your daily routines. It's very karmic of you, very karmic healing of you to do that work. Yeah.
I'm even allowing myself to do this in my business.
Yes.
Which is weird because it's not at all how we are wired. You know, business, you should cut the emotional stuff out, and you have to earn money. And I'm really like feeling into it. Is it the right time for me to give this program, to give this teaching, or will I let my students wait? I'm very sorry, but not sorry, but I'm waiting for the right perfect timing for me to be able to and then I can really give everything, you know?
That's perfect. That's perfect for your chart. When Saturn in the daily routines house, the 6th house, it deals with like what we do on a daily basis and how we are of service, how we want to be of service. And for you, the karmic lesson you came here to do is to really lean into the feeling, even though that's not comfortable, even though, like you said, that's not what we were taught, right? It's really the karmic lesson you're here to do. And it's having a lovely trine to your purpose and your career and your 10th house, your MC here in Scorpio. So we've got Saturn in Cancer and having this lovely trine to your MC in Scorpio, your purpose and career. So these two, again, wait. Take your time. Lean into the feeling. You'll know when. You'll feel it in your body. You'll feel it viscerally with your moon in Taurus, your rising sign in Capricorn, Venus, your planet of business in Capricorn, and then Saturn in your daily routines house and how you're of service. You're going to feel this in your body. When it's time to take action. You knew when to reach out. You knew when to go, do your marketing pictures you just did. You knew when to ask to be on a podcast, and Spirit was like, let me deliver. Here you go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's nice. Once you really know who you are and you really get it and you allow yourself to really commit to that and stick to that, no matter what the whole world is like, you're leaving millions on the table with your business. And I'm like, I know. Yeah. That's fine. I will take them when I'm ready to take them. I mean, we're not taking them back home, right? So I mean, I'm not here to I'm really, oh, thank you for confirming. I'm here to really experience myself and feel who I am. And then all the rest will follow from. It's also a lot what my teaching is about. It's, really trusting universe and trusting the deep feeling inside. Your soul knows.
Yes.
So why listen to the whole world and your brain when deep inside this little eternal being just knows everything?
And that's
like, okay, let's just lean on her, right?
That's what you came here to teach. You came here to teach people how to trust themselves, because when your vitality, your identity, your willpower, the sun sign is in the 12th house, you literally came here with an identity of trusting. It is this understanding that you must trust in the things you cannot see with the visible eyes. Right. And in reality, our visible spectrum is really minuscule, what we can see that we know actually exists in the universe. So it seems ridiculous that we would think that all there is out there is what we can see. We know that there's more. And you've come here to teach others to trust in the fact that there is more, and how to do that on a daily basis with your North Node opposite your karmic healing. So your soul's mission is kind of this North Node. It's like, I like to describe it as like your Google Maps point. If you're like, I'm going on a mission in this life, I'm going to go travel, and this is my end destination. I feel like that's your North Node. And for you, it's at the tail end of Sagittarius, which means it's very mature. So 28 degrees. And it's in the 12th house. So at the 12th house energy of spirituality, trusting, intuitive work, and ancestral healing and generational healing. So you get to trust that you're going towards that Google Map point, and your daily routines of listening to the feeling, leaning into compassion, learning to mother yourself as well as others. That's going to help you get to that destination point. And it really takes a lot of trust, a lot.
This is actually so funny because the whole curriculum of my program that I'm teaching is just written in my chart. You could have given that to me like 30 years ago.
Isn't that great?
That I figured this out, that this is exactly all the things you're saying. Like, that's the curriculum of my program that I'm teaching.
Ta-da! Yeah. Well, then that tells me your program is going to be amazing, because you are teaching your energy, which is exactly what we're all supposed to be doing here.
Yeah.
Yay.
That's
my
it.
Program.
Definitely.
I love my program. Really, it's the best program ever. I love
Spoken
it.
with confidence.
I'm
Oh,
really in
Yeah.
love with it.
perfect. And
Um,
with you for teaching is something that calms you and brings you like a peace inside of your nervous system. The planet of rebelliousness and chaos and sudden change, Uranus, also rules our nervous system, and he's in your ninth house. So when you take action, he's opposite the planet of action, Mars. When you take action and do the weird thing and teach the unique thing and teach your authentic energy, it makes your stress like go away. It takes your nervous system and just whoo. And you get into this Zen space when you are helping others find harmony inside of themselves because Uranus is in Libra. So that's all you're trying to do is teach others to find harmony. That's like bottom line right there.
Yeah.
Yay.
hmm.
Amazing, right? Amazing.
Yeah. Astrid, I have to ask, because I see your Venus at 29 degrees Capricorn, and we know that Pluto has just moved into Aquarius. What has changed for you and your values over the past 2-3 years?
Mm.
Can you, if you look back a couple of years, can you see a journey, a sort of kind of not super like easy journey, like
Wow.
you know, like being hit in the head with a rock and like, whoa, the way I see the world and my values need to change, or maybe how I see relationships need to change.
Or how you bring in money.
Yeah.
Wow. This is really too much. Yes. So since 5 years, I started to work with American people because with everything that I found here in Belgium, Europe, I still didn't find the key. And so 5 years ago, I started to work with American people, also younger generation like you guys. Here in Belgium, I mostly had elders teaching me. And this is when the soul awakening method came on my path about the generational trauma. So I experienced the healing from that and also the turbulence from the healing. And so also I started traveling with these Americans in order to go to retreats, which I never did before, was scary to death to start traveling. And yes, I did hit a moment where I, for the so manyest time in my life, looked like I lost everything, especially with what happened in 2020. I was a performer, I was an artist, so all these jobs disappeared.
Yeah.
And it was so bad that it was for me like, I cannot go for 1,000th time in my victim mode. So I just got angry and I was like, okay, it's okay. I got it now. I will step into my power. And so I stepped into my power. I became independent entrepreneur. While before I was, the state was supporting me as an artist. And so my life is turned 360 degrees. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Thanks, Pluto.
That's
Yes,
so interesting. And also that,
so
yeah.
from a nobody, unknown artist who just brought smiles in the streets because that was the best I could do, wanted to bring joy to the world. So that's how I did that. And I played the piano and I was a dancer and I did all of these things to bring some smiles. And now it really turned into, okay, I'm the only European with this method of healing. I'm the only one in Belgium who really has this system in a program to teach. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm standing on my both feet. It's going well. And I really feel like, okay, now I am who I am. I've searched for myself for, almost 50 years. I know who I am now. I know what my gift is. I know how to let my soul talk. And now life has begun.
Woo!
Amazing.
And I also feels like because I did this journey, I am the proof, the walking proof that it is possible to shift from survival mode to being alive and having the best time. And because I saw people before me I was like, I cannot do that.
Mm-hmm.
But they also claimed, if I can do it, you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And yes,
Exactly.
you can just learn this and have badass healing on top of it, and everybody can be as happy as they want to be.
That's so amazing. So you
a lovely
had
story.
yeah, like you had that like a spiritual awakening, like Pluto is such a spiritual planet, like Pluto going over Venus, which is all about your values and your self-worth. So you really had a big shake around your self-worth, but also about business-wise, like what you do for money. Did you say that you were working for the state before?
No, I was a freelance artist, but I did get
Aha.
some support from the state. Yes.
Oh, okay. Because it's so
Yeah.
interesting. Capricorn is so much about the state and structure, and you
Yep.
have Venus there, so it makes sense that you sort of like those structures, but then Pluto comes and like takes it away and makes you have to do this energy in a different way.
Yep.
So instead of them having the power, like you take the power and then you build something of your own, and that's just exactly like such a good example of what Pluto does.
I always felt like I have to be at service. So whatever you want me to do, I will do it. I will do it. And now it's really changed. I decide what I do. And okay, I'm checking out if you guys are aligned with what I want to give, because nobody wants it, okay? you know, but
that's always
I
good.
decide what I do. Also, my view on money. Before, I was more of like, I always have enough. I have a little bit, but with this little bit, it's like Jesus, you have 2 fishes and 3 breads, and you can keep on eating from it. So I had like €5, but I could keep living from it. I never had an issue with that, but I only had €5. And now I understood, also thanks to Dalai Lama, who said it's the Western women that need to regain their power and change this world. And it landed inside of me, and I didn't really understand what he talked about until I met the Americans. Jules Schroeder, Unconventional Life, check her out, she's the best. She was all the time talking about money, and I was like, if she talks about it, it sounds yummy. So I started to investigate what's the thing about money. And now I understand it's way more powerful. Instead of just being in service like Mother Teresa, not having a penny, to just gather the money. And with this money, I have the power to decide what is produced, what is consumed, what is happening in this world.
And Astrid, you and I met in a money healing course, an energetics shifting around money with Jolie Dawn. So that's where you and I even met. Yeah.
Yes. True.
And I'm pretty sure you were probably having your Pluto Venus conjunction at that time. I'm pretty sure. I love Venus though, because at 29 degrees Capricorn, 37 minutes, that's like the very tail end of Capricorn. So you really got this like Pluto cuff upside the head, right? Right upside the head to say, it's time to mature with how you make money now. It's time to do it in a different way. And the first house is the house of I am. And so with Pluto there, activating this value and this personal power of your own value, I am valuing myself. I am building my own structure. I am like, it's very powerful when you really put that word I, or those words I am, in front of it. And then you take these powerful Pluto energies of power, transformation, rebirth, creation, obsession, and you merge them with changing your values, your relationships, your money, how you look at yourself. Damn, girl, you make this sexy. Round of applause.
And you make it sound easy, and because Pluto energy is not easy. It's far from it.
The thing is that I have discovered that it is ridiculously easy if only somebody would teach you. That's the thing.
I guess that's
and
it.
Then, of course, it takes some time to integrate what you're learning. But first of all, somebody needs to teach you, and I'm so happy that I'm a teacher. Really, I feel it in my bones. Whenever people talk to me, I just start teaching. It's like, sorry, who I am.
Me too. It's okay. Don't apologize, girl. That's who we are. It's all right. I think that's what brought our energies together, is we both have this like energy of needing to share our knowledge. We have to share our knowledge with people, especially the hard experiences we've been through. And that's really a powerful thing, especially in your chart right now with Mars trekking through the third house and your natal Mars in the third house. Like you have to share your wisdom. You have to. It's imperative in your chart. It's imperative for your career that you do it from an emotional perspective as well. With your moon opposite that career house, like if it's not coming from your heart, it's not right. What you teach has to light you up emotionally. It has to.
And I have that even so deeply in me that when I do jobs in the past, when I did jobs that were not aligned, within few months, I was sick. I just really, I mean, not even like, but if you try it a little and just, you know, like everybody is doing.
Yep.
Impossible for me. My body gives up. It's like, no way.
Well, look at the conversation between your moon and your planet that rules the body in the house of health and wellness. If you are not doing what your moon, what your heart wants you to do, your body will be like, and guys, she's not getting the message. Let's make her sick. All right, she's not getting it. Right. You're gonna get that poof upside the head until you get it. My husband has his Saturn in the 6th house, and I've seen this time and time again. If he is in the wrong energetics for work, for how he is serving people, he will become physically ill, whether it's a rash or lethargic or just weird health issues. Yeah, absolutely. It will take you out. You have to energetically align with how you are being of service. It's part of that karmic mission of learning to take care of yourself so that you can take care of others. I love that you're doing it. Good job, you.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions for us, Astrid? Anything like on your mind where you're like, do you know, have a question about timing or anything?
Yeah. Do you know? Should I launch my summer program or is it more for September? Or do I do it twice?
Oh, that's a good question too.
So you want to launch a program?
Yes. Yes.
And when in summer are you thinking? Real soon or a little bit?
Yes. So the years before I did it, July, August.
Okay.
2 months, a weekly gathering online. And now it feels like it's too soon. It should be like September, October. And I'm like, is it because I need to take my time and energy to be writing on my blogs and my website and my book and my podcast and YouTube and install all of that? Or I don't know. Maybe I'm lazy. I don't want to do it.
It's not that. Helena, what planets are catching your eye right now?
So I'm checking. First, I was just pulled to like, okay, I see that the Sun and Mercury and Venus is gonna go on top of your Saturn. I was thinking, well, some things are gonna happen. Then maybe it's not the perfect time, maybe to release something. But a little bit afterwards, when the Sun or Venus is at around 11 degrees or a little bit later in Cancer, it will be in a trine to your MC, to how you share your gift with the world. And I feel like that's a really good timing, like Venus trying to MC.
Yeah.
Or Sun trying to MC.
When is that?
We can look that like up for you and get the exact date.
Not too long. Not too long.
Okay.
Yeah, like a couple of weeks, 3-4 weeks.
That's also the thing. Sometimes as I am such a feeler, of course, sometimes I feel like now, but for programs, my audience cannot just, okay, now we drop everything to join your program, right? And that's something I'm still investigating. How do I work with that gift of feeling and the need of planning ahead, because we are on this earthly.
Right. Well, what I'm looking at too is Jupiter is currently at 4 degrees in Gemini, and when he gets to 7, and he's already having this conversation with Neptune, but he's opposite your planet Neptune at 7 degrees, which is just at the tail end of your 11th area where we deal with community. So your community, your people, all of your out there's, right? The people on the internet, the people that just make up your broader community. So Jupiter is going to expand and really increase things, anything he touches. So I feel like you, I'm getting this message that you already know the answer. You're feeling the expansion of Jupiter on your intuition, but your intuition is also the planet of fogginess. So while yes, we feel it, we also intellectually get a little cloudy, right? So we're in the fog intellectually. So I would keep getting into your body. Remember I said earlier, your body's going to tell you. Like Helena said, when Venus gets to 11 degrees Cancer, that would be a great energy. And then around that time, Jupiter should probably be just opposite your Neptune. So both in these energetics of feel it and know when that timing is. It is coming up. Absolutely. It is coming up. Mars is going to be in a few weeks too. He's going to be getting closer and closer to your moon in Taurus. So yes, one of the things you suggested was, should I be working on the foundational stuff? 100%. Get your website going, get your newsletters, get the foundational writing and that foundational creation of content that people can go to so that they have a landing page and whatever. Get that stuff going for sure. Mars and Taurus, driven to create a foundation, driven to make stuff look pretty, right? So make your website and create the foundation or the landing page for your course or whatever it is. Get that stuff done for sure in the background.
Yeah, and I feel now what you just said, Helena, like in so many weeks, and it's very clear now in my head. I will not blob it yet.
Yeah, no.
But now I see the timeline that I will take. Yeah.
And I mean, they won't always, but there's so many things happening in a chart, and all the planets are moving all the time. So it's hard to have a point in time when nothing is like creating tension. But I feel like you always need a little bit of tension somewhere to pull yourself up. Otherwise it gets too easy. But it's great. Like we've looked at a couple of things, like these are looking good. And I mean, right before this time, you will be having your Saturn activated, which is about like, to mature a little bit more into what you want to do, into that mothering energy. So I feel like that's great, like a little bit of Saturn energy. And then you do your thing, and there might be something else creating tension. Who knows at that time? But all it's meant to happen at that time that it's meant to be happening, And like you said before, Laura Lee, like you're gonna do it when you feel like it's the right time.
And that Saturn energy that these planets are going to go over Venus, the Sun, Mercury, doof, 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 right over Saturn. That's going to feel like a time where you need to mature and make sure you have your structure, make sure you have all your T's crossed and all your I's dotted and all your email stuff. Like he's the guy that's like, do it well and do it right the first time, and don't screw around and, half-ass your stuff. Do it well. Saturn wants you to make sure you're doing stuff well, so you graduate and you get your degree and you move out, right? This is whenever these planets go over the top of him, you're going to feel that activation of, okay, especially Venus, when she goes over Saturn, do I have my money system taken care of for taking payments? Are all my integrations all aligned? Can people pay me through these various ways? Make sure the foundation of your payment system is set up, right? And then when the sun sign comes over Saturn, maybe that's when you start to release these lovely marketing pictures you just did. And now you have your identity and you're working hard on putting your identity out into the world. So I always see Saturn as like, what do you need to work hard on? What's the thing you got to put your energy into to focus? Quit distracting yourself with the sparkly shit and work on this, right?
It might feel a little restrictive, that energy. So yeah, but it always brings, it just wants us to do well. Saturn just wants us to do well.
Yes.
And it's true. I do feel the maturing part around all these setting the things up. Before it really was for me, I felt so much resistance and scared. I was scared just to touch the laptop. And now I started to do some very, very small things like, and I felt once I get a hang of this, I'm going to love these things. I really am going to love it. Like I love dancing, like I love playing the piano, like I love being an actress. Will be my next new
girl, for real.
Thingy,
for real. I've been having some business meetings and with some other women entrepreneurs, and one of them just brought me into the realm of the spreadsheet. And I've been pretty much like anti-spreadsheet most of my life, just because I've lived in apathy around finances and numbers for most of my life. I don't have that cool intuition thing with numbers like you do. And so I recently have started really putting my time and effort and energy into spreadsheet. And I have to say, I'm weirdly finding them sexy. And I don't know what to think about this, but I'm getting excited about it. I'm getting kind of turned on by it. I was like, what is happening? What, what is going on?
Spreadsheets are sexy.
I love that
I guess it's like feeling a little bit in control of something. Like you have a spreadsheet and you see, and you're like, I see it, because I know the fear about those things. You don't want to like look at your bank account because you just don't want to see those things. But when you take control over them, and then you have a spreadsheet, you put the numbers in there, you're like, who's the boss now? Even though it doesn't matter what the numbers in there are, but you are sort of in control of them because you can see them. They're exactly where you can see them.
And it's very grounding, right? It connects us even more to the earth. And for me, spirituality is not about finding the way up. No, finding the way inside the body, descending on earth. And so if you then have a spreadsheet, I mean, how anchored can you be in earthly things, right?
Yeah. I love that.
Well, Astrid, soon we will start sending each other spreadsheets.
For real. For real. We definitely need to do that. I never thought, seriously, if you would have asked me like 10 years ago, hey, do you think 10 years from now you'll find spreadsheets sexy? I'd be like, get out of here with your stupid self. No. But it's amazing when you hit these different cycles in your chart. You hit these different things where planets wake you up and shake you up, and you're like, oh, I guess now is the time to mature. Now is the time for me to dive into creating a website or a newsletter, whatever we're doing. It's so fun to get older and live through these experiences and see the various different versions of ourselves.
And especially, really, if I may, becoming older is so much fun, because this society is only like, oh, you don't want to get older and you want to stay young, and I'm like, nobody ever told us how fun and cool it is to have an older age. It's the coolest thing that I've ever lived. I'm 50. I mean, how cool is that? And wait until I'm 60 and 75. I mean, one of my clients is 81, and a person of 75 starting up her business. I mean, it's like
empowering.
Wow.
Being young is not fun, I promise you. The best things are yet to come, I promise you.
I'm listening to a podcast or an audiobook right now, and it's by I'm gonna pull it up. It is called The Well-Lived Life, and it's 102-year-old doctor's 6 secrets to health and happiness at every age. Dr. Gladys McGarry. She wrote her book at 102 years old, you guys. 102.
Yeah, but that makes sense. Like that's when you have gathered so much wisdom. Like, who wants to listen? I mean, yeah, of course we want to hear what young people have to say also, but it's just imagine all of the life experience of someone 70 years of age, 80, 90, 100. Wow.
Yeah. I love how empowering you are sharing your age, your journey, your growth. I am so glad we had you on today, Astrid. How can people find you?
Well,
can they find you?
Yeah. We're working on it.
We're gonna hide in the house.
I'm behind the rock. No. So you can for sure find me on Instagram, Mirakel Maker. I have a Flemish speaking one and an English speaking one. I might mingle them up. I don't know yet, but you will find me Miracle Maker on Instagram, Miracle Maker on Facebook, website miraclemaker.com, on which I am in this moment I'm working on. So you can, if you open it, you will see it will say under construction.
Nice.
Working on it, thanks to my planets. I'm working on it.
You are.
And yes.
Excellent.
So you can find me. If you don't find me, reach out to these two beautiful ladies.
Yeah, we will help you along the way.
Yeah,
yes.
We'll get your links shared. And
yes.
you are going to be releasing a course soon. We don't know quite the timing yet, but soon. And what kind of people is that course designed for? Like who would want that course?
Those who really want to be able to co-create with life, and not just life happening to them, but having something to say also, you know, be able to communicate with life, with the body, with the emotions, with the mind, with the soul, so that you don't feel like this powerless being that is sucking it up, but that you can really say like, okay, I want something in my life. Life, please help me with this. Right? And this I can, actually it's about how to be a human on this planet.
Yeah, it sounds like it's for everyone.
Everyone.
Society.
Got it. Everybody sign up.
Well, if you're really interested to learn how these things work, how energy works. Yeah.
That's fantastic, which I think is most of our listeners. So that's lovely. Yeah. Well, we will definitely get your links down below. Thank you so much, Astrid, for being with us today and letting us take your podcast virginity. We're so excited about that.
Yeah. It's my pleasure. Really. Thank you so much. Yes.
Awesome. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Ram and Goat Astrology. You can support the show by buying us a coffee or a tea. Link in the show notes. Your financial support means the world to us. Join us next time.